all this snow that we are seeing now back east reminds me of the times back at about 38, 39. We had terrible thunderstorms back in Pittsburg, Kansas. Wally had a old Model A or Model T Ford that he had the top off and he had it painted white and had black letters written all over it and things. He called it scatterbolts. And we'd get out in that car, and one day we started around the corner and it just kept sliding and it hit a curb and it broke the wheel, bent the wheel, and the spokes of the wheel were wooden. Well, the boys got out and they pulled it back up together and it froze in place, and they kept water on it and would throw water on it and freeze it. We finished out the winter with it that way. That old car we had a lot of fun with. It was always in the parades, and especially after the basketball games, while we'd take off and have a parade, and that old car would be in it. We lived in Muskogee for a while, and it was interesting. The Cherokee Indians there was a tribe. They had their dances and their entertainment, and they would come to school every now and then and entertain us with their Indian dances. Pittsburgh was a nice college town, and they always had something going on at college. And I was in with a little group. There were 6 of us girls. We called ourselves the Foolish Femmes. Well, we couldn't afford to do a lot of stuff as far as buying tickets and all to get into things at the college, but there was always some celebrity or somebody there with a concert, and we would manage somehow to hear. And one time Jeanette MacDonald was there, and 2 of the girls was able to go. Scraped up the money to go, but the rest of us couldn't. And then another girl and I, we wanted to go, and I said, well, let's go out there and see if we can even hear. We can stand outside the door and listen. And it was quite a walk out there, and Daddy, he said, well, I hate for you girls to walk out there. It was late at night. And I said, well, Daddy, come with us. Well, he came with us, and Nita and I, we got outside the windows and listened. Well, they were high and they were deep in. We looked around, and there was a wooden sawhorse there that they had been using to block the roads or something. We pulled that over. Daddy said, what are you going to do? He says, we're going to stand on this and see if we can see. Well, we got up and stood on that, and we could lean into the window and be able to see and hear. Daddy pulled his hat down over his eyes. He's afraid somebody would see him. Before the concert was over, it started raining, so we all went home with wet bottoms. In this group of girls, there was 6 of us. One of them was a violinist, and she played in the school orchestra. Another one was a pianist, and she played with the school orchestra. Another one sang, had a very good voice. And then there was Betty and I. We were just us. We could help them get in trouble. And one time, Dorothy and I were at the drugstore, and we had a little radio station there, and I says, come on, Dorothy. We nicknamed her Tony. So I said, Tony, why don't we go up the radio station and see if you can get on? And she was game. We went up there and asked if she could have a trial, and they made an appointment for it. And so it was, I don't know, several days later, her mother went with us, and we went up there, and she made it. She got on, and she had a little 15-minute radio show. So we got to spend quite a bit of time up there picking out music for her show, and we got acquainted with the disc jockey. We'd pick out music for his program, and occasionally there'd be some celebrity or politician come in, and that was some good times. We got to meet people and got to do something that really didn't cost money. A lot of good memories. In 39 and 40, things were still getting rough. And it ended up that our rent was $17.50 and Daddy drew $17.50 in his check. So we all did extra work. He would chop wood, Mother and I would hang wallpaper, sew, babysit, and did things to keep the oatmeal going. So then I had an uncle and some cousins who had gone to Kansas City and were renting rooms in a big house that an old bachelor and his sister had. So Daddy decided he would like to go up there and try to get a job. And I said, well, Daddy, go ahead, because I had just graduated. And I says, I'll get a job. Well, heavens, I didn't know what I was going to do. So he hitchhiked to Kansas City. I got a job soda jerking. I made 10 cents an hour, brought home $3.80. And Daddy did get on. They were just making the first big supermarkets. And he got on there. So things began to change for us. He worked there for a few, I don't remember how long, whether it was weeks or months, and managed to, with my uncle, borrow a car and come and move us up there. And Daddy, he walked the soles right off of his shoes up there looking for a job. It was in the winter time, and all he had was a suit coat. He didn't have a winter coat, so it was rough. But when we got up there was, I think, about 6 men renting rooms there. And so they had a third floor attic apartment that we lived in. And Mother and I cooked and did laundry and all for all those men. And that paid our rent. So we began to work things out there. And Daddy got a job. And so that kind of ends that area. Things begin to pick up. So I think I'll end the saga right here. Bye-bye.